Ms. Haba, I have heard you. I have considered what you have to say, and I have ruled. That's it. In my courtroom, when a ruling is made, that's the end, not the beginning of an argument. Do you understand me, Ms. Haba? That is what Judge Kaplan said right out the gate as the E. Jean Carroll defamation trial has begun. Prospective jurors have arrived in the courtroom. Judge Kaplan is giving instructions to these prospective jurors right now. And as that is taking place, despite the fact that the parties and people who are there in the courtroom are not allowed to have their cell phones or electronic devices on them per the rules of that federal courtroom, Donald Trump has been posting post after post, threatening and harassing E. Jean Carroll, either having those posts pre-planned and set to take place at this time, or having Dan Scavino or somebody else post these threats, tormenting E. Jean Carroll, someone who Donald Trump was already to have determined to have sexually abused, raped, and defamed based on a jury verdict back in May of 2023. Based on the findings of that jury in May, in this separate defamation trial, it has already been established that Donald Trump engaged in the defamatory conduct and that Donald Trump has engaged in the underlying conduct of sexual abuse, which the judge has made clear is the equivalent of rape in the state of New York. The judge, in discussing with the jury what this case is about, has stated the following to prospective jurors right out the gate. It has been determined already that Mr. Trump did sexually assault Ms. Carroll, that he knew when he made the statements about Ms. Carroll that the statements he was making were false, and that he made the statements with a reckless disregard for whether they were true or false. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you understand that this has already been established? That's what the judge said from the outset. The judge asked prospective jurors, would you be unable to give both sides a fair trial and to decide this case solely on the basis of the evidence you hear during this trial and the instructions on the law that I give you? Based on the judge saying that, at least 3 prospective jurors initially have been excused, saying that they will not be able to be fair, that they could not be impartial based on what they've already heard so far. Erica Orden is in the court and has been giving updates. Frankly, not sure how, because I don't believe you're allowed to have cell phones or electronic devices in the court, so maybe during the breaks these are coming out. But here's what she says the judge has also been saying. Judge Kaplan said neither individual party is entitled to make any objections to anything that happens in court except through their lawyers. Judge Kaplan says that both E. Jean Carroll and Donald Trump are not to say anything to any juror or communicate anything directly or indirectly to any juror. Judge Kaplan begins discussing the jury selection process, and he explains that he will automatically dismiss anyone who says they can't be fair or impartial. Donald Trump is in the courtroom. He's seated at the defense table. E. Jean Carroll is 2 rows ahead of Donald Trump, seated at the plaintiff's table. They don't appear to have interacted, according to Erica Orden, who's there in the court right now. Trump is wearing a dark suit and a red tie. E. Jean Carroll wearing a white suit with a black trim. As Erica Orden explains, this is the second trial that was brought by E. Jean Carroll. And as Erica Orden says here as well, Judge Kaplan is known for running a very tight ship in the court. No phones allowed, even for people who are authorized to have phones in the courthouse. And of course, this is a jury trial, as I noted. One of the things that Judge Kaplan also informed the jury and prospective jurors, we're in jury selection right now, is that this will be an anonymous jury, meaning no one, including the parties, their lawyers, reporters, or even the judge will know their real names. Judge Kaplan told the jury that they speak to each other using code names or names other than their real names when they speak to each other. So even the jurors and prospective jurors won't know each other's name. They should come up with an alias because of the threats that Donald Trump poses to their life. The jurors will be transported to court each day by gathering at a certain meeting spot, a secret location that will be disclosed only to the jurors, from where they will be driven to the court and brought via an underground tunnel and garage into the courtroom to protect their safety from the threats of Donald Trump. Judge Kaplan has also instructed jurors not to tell anyone, even including their family members, their spouse, anyone that they are serving on this case, because it could imperil their life. And that is why there needs to be this anonymous jury right now. And look, Donald Trump, the moment he got into court, the moment he was there, it's been reported he's been like looking at the jurors. At the same time he's been doing that, he's been posting on his social media horrific things about E. Jean Carroll. I'm talking about dozens and dozens of posts about E. Jean Carroll. As you can see right now, as I'm speaking on this video, here's just a video of some of the posts that Donald Trump made. The X account called Outspoken did a nice screenshot here that I am showing you right now, just of all of the posts, but there's even more than what's on this video right here. Just post about E. Jean Carroll, harassing her, threatening her. And as I said before, Donald Trump has already been found by a jury back in May to have sexually assaulted E. Jean Carroll. The judge has made clear that's the same thing as rape, and Donald Trump has been found liable for defamation. And now Donald Trump in the courthouse tormenting his victim, who is sitting just a few feet away from him in this court proceeding. Donald Trump also attacking the judge. The only right, honest, and lawful thing that the Clinton-appointed Judge Lewis Kaplan, who has so far been unable to see clearly because of his absolute hatred for Donald J. Trump, me, can do is to end this un-American injustice being done to a president of the United States who is wrongfully accused by a woman he never met, saw, or touched. A photo line does not count and knows absolutely nothing about. I have been considered an A-list celebrity for many decades. So even decades ago, since no one knows which date or dates to refer, because the accusing woman can't say the day, month, season, year, or decade. Donald Trump further defaming E. Jean Carroll. No doubt the jury, once it's selected, will see posts like this. We'll see that Donald Trump has engaged in ongoing defamation. No doubt that will add to the punitive damages here as well. Donald Trump continues to post, and I'm not going to read all of this deranged stuff that he says, but I just want to show you the level of unhinged evil that is taking place right now, where you are tormenting someone that a federal jury has already found that you sexually assaulted. Here's what Donald Trump also writes. He goes about E. Jean Carroll. She changed her false Monica Lewinsky type story on the dress, which she taunted us with, after it was proven to have no connection to me. She has been all over the place on the timing of this alleged incident, which never took place, and is being coached by a lunatic, radical, Democrat operative attorney, Roberta Kaplan, who has sued me before and just lost. Again, that's not true either. It was determined that another class action that was brought against Donald Trump, and a whole other thing, should be brought as individual actions, not a class action. But then when you just look at the language Donald Trump's using about the victim who he has been already adjudicated by a federal jury and judge to have raped, he said she was taunting us with her dress. That's what Donald Trump's saying here while he's in court. She taunted us with her dress, and she's been all over the place. That's how Donald Trump is referring to the victim who he sexually assaulted while he is in court. No doubt E. Jean Carroll's lawyer is going to bring that up immediately to the jury, especially as it relates to punitive damages and the rest of everything Donald Trump's saying. So absolutely reprehensible in that message. So just so you're not confused about this E. Jean Carroll case versus the other E. Jean Carroll case, the E. Jean Carroll case that went to a verdict where the trial was held in May related to defamatory statements Donald Trump made in 2022, as well as the underlying sexual abuse that Donald Trump engaged in under the New York Adult Survivors Act, which revived the statute of limitations on claims for sexual abuse and assault for people in the state of New York whose statute of limitations had expired. So E. Jean Carroll availed herself to that statute to bring that claim against Donald Trump, as many other victims across New York of sexual assault have done in other cases. And there was also a 2022 defamatory statement and statements that Trump made. That's what that case was about that went to verdict in May of 2023. This E. Jean Carroll trial is just a case involving defamation, and it involves defamatory statements Donald Trump made in 2019 while he was disgracing the office. And the reason why this case, even though it was filed first, is now going second is because Bill Barr tried to substitute the United States government in place of Donald Trump, saying that Trump's statements defaming E. Jean Carroll during press conference and other statements to the press constituted official acts of the presidency. That all got appealed to various courts, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals directed a certain question to the top court in the District of Columbia, and ultimately they came back with the fact that Trump should go and sit for this trial. So this case got put back on the trial track after the other case. So even though it was filed first, that's why it's the second trial, but the first filed E. Jean Carroll case. And the reason that liability has now been conclusively established, there's a legal doctrine known as collateral estoppel. And when there's another case that's substantially identical in character to this case, where a jury's made findings based on the underlying conduct and sexual abuse, as well as substantially identical defamatory statements, the law holds that the verdict from the one jury carries over, so you don't have inconsistent rulings where you have duplicative facts, basically. So the rulings carry over here where a jury's made these findings already. So that's what's going on right now. And Trump already lashing out. We'll see what happens. Again, this is a no-nonsense judge. Anybody who knows federal Judge Lewis Kaplan knows that he's not afraid to throw the book at any party, so we will see what happens. We'll keep you posted, but it's Donald Trump already kind of having a complete fit in that courtroom. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers thanks to your support. Hit subscribe now and have a great day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.